Welcome to Math Video Tutorials and welcome to this lesson on proof by contradiction. Proof by contradiction is based on the fact that a statement cannot be true and false at the same time. So it has to be either true or false. And number two, if a statement is true, then the negation or opposite statement must be false. Next step is how do you solve proof by contradictions? Well, we've got some steps to follow. Let's have a look at them. The first one is you assume that the opposite statement is true. So you contradict the original statement, right? You use the negation and you assume that the negation statement is the true one. And you try or attempt to prove it is true by clearly showing every steps of the proof. Thirdly, well, you continue with the logical steps of the proof till you arrive to a contradiction. Now, at this stage, you're nearly done. All you have to do is just make a conclusion in which you say that your assumption is false and therefore the original statement is true. All right, now let's see how we can put these steps into practice and answer some questions. All right, let's jump right into it. One of the most famous exercise of proof by contradiction is this one here. Prove that the square root of 2 is an irrational number. So I'd like to do it. So let's get started with the first step. We need to assume that the opposite statement is true. So the opposite statement of this one here will be square root of 2 is a rational number. And the question now is, what is a rational number? Well, a rational number, you can write it down as a fraction, a over b, where a and b are integers. I put a comma, b are integers, and where the fraction itself is in its simplest form, meaning that a and b do not share any common factor. That's very important. A, b, and b do not share common factors or common factor. All right, so that's the idea now. So I need to square both sides because I need to find out a bit more about a and b. All right, let's do squaring first. Let's do square root of 2 squared. That will give me 2, and then square the a over b. That will give me a squared over b squared. And that would lead me to, if I multiply by b squared, both sides by b squared, that would give me 2b squared is equal a squared. And if I just flip it around to make a the subject on the left hand side, for 2b squared, you can see now, having it this way, a squared equal 2b squared, that tells me that a squared is an even number because it's multiplied by 2 here. Regardless of the value of b, so you multiply by 2, you end up with an even number. So a squared is even. Now, if a squared is even, you should also know that, and this is a fact, mathematical fact, of course, a is even. So that's good because we have found out a little bit about a. We don't know the value. It doesn't matter. We just know what type of number is. Now, if a is even, and because we know that the fraction here is in its simplest form, meaning that a and b do not share any common factor, means that b should be odd. Because if it was even, that's the b we're talking about, then that will contradict the assumption. And that's the idea. So let's see what we could do now. So as I said, we need to investigate b. Now, how do I do that? Well, the clue is here. Is A is even. That means A can be written as something like 2n. All right, so we're going to square both sides. That will give me 4n squared. I'm going to take this and substitute it here in this equation. Okay, so that will give me 4n squared, because instead of a squared, I'm going to replace it with the term 4n squared. That is equal to b squared, because I want to eliminate a, make b the subject in this case. So if I just turn it around or switch it around, so it'll give me b squared, sorry, 2b squared equal 4n squared. After divide by 2, again similar to what we did earlier with the a, that will give me b squared is equal to n squared. And you can see we have got into a bit of contradiction here, because this one tells me that b squared is even, so therefore b is even. All right, b squared is even, so therefore b is even. We were expecting it to be odd for the reasons we mentioned earlier. They should not share any common factor. So therefore, you can see clearly now we have arrived to that contradiction. We have contradicted our assumption, this one here. So we finished the working out. We just need to write down a conclusion now. So we're going to say our assumption is wrong. So we're going to say our assumption is wrong. Oops. So therefore, or hence the square root of 2 is irrational. Okay, I can put it like this, or I can put just to say the original statement is true. All right, either way will be acceptable. So that gives you the idea how to go about proving by contradiction, the steps that are involved. Really basic, right? Again, in the exam, you do not need to write down 1, 2, 3, all right, 4. You just start make an assumption and you start the logical steps of your proof. And very important that you write down clear statement of your conclusion. I hope this video tutorial will be helpful. We're gonna do more of this in the next video tutorial. All right, till then, take care.